Coastal zone management has emerged as a crucial issue in fisheries and marine resources management in Sierra Leone. At the height of the country's civil war in the late 1990s, the sector was left to the exploit of foreign vessels that swooped in for the catch and local fishermen who cast their nets just anywhere. Following the end of the war, efforts have been stepped up to manage the marine resources of the country. Edward Aruna works with the Conservation Society of Sierra Leone. He explains why and how marine conservation gained currency in the country.
We've seen that our whole life depends on the marine ecosystem because it's not everybody is able to maybe get meat as feeding for the day. But I tell you, 99% of the Sierra Leone population rely on the fish for eating. This fish comes from the marine environment. So it came to a point when the former government saw that food security was a key issue in the country. So that was how really the whole issue of marine started to catch up very serious attention in the country because we thought this is vital for the sustainability of our people in Sierra Leone, and we are very much looking forward to it.
Conservation only becomes necessary when the resources you're exploiting are declining. And that is why conservation has become necessary, because the fishermen are reporting lower catches both in the industrial and the artisanal sector.
But what are the issues in marine conservation in the country?
Some of the issues in the country include the illegal fishing. That's a serious issue. Construction at some key wetland sites, reclamation. Our fishing methods are not keen, and the way they handle our mangroves. These are all the issues. Mining have been going on, cutting down of mangrove trees, and even the use of chemicals in some fishing industries. So all these were the issues.
In addition to these economic and livelihood concerns, there are also environmental considerations.
Because of climate change, you have fluctuation in water levels. So communities are affected, because of the rise in temperature, there is corresponding rise in water level. So most settlements are more or less eroded entirely.
If where the fish go, the larvae grow, the nursery grounds are affected, like by erosion, where we cut the mangroves that bind the soil, and then we have in the rainy season heavy input of extraneous material, sediments into the coastal area. That too could disrupt the food, the blooming of the food, the plankton on which the larvae depend.
The concerns for the sustainability of the resources reverberate throughout the coastal communities where fishermen have witnessed their catch dwindle over the years.
The way fish been there, with presently fish not again, and most of this community where we there, some people where at least they know they are, when they not sabi go brush farm again, they not sabi go cut banga again. Obviously, we don't come born with beginning, and if government sit down, they look tomorrow. The fish down our water, a big problem.
According to the fisheries director, government has responded by putting mechanisms in place to regulate the sector.
Illegal or reported and unregulated fishing practices is not only carried out by industrial vessels, even with the small-scale fishermen. We stop them. We try to encourage them to stop fishing in shallow areas.
Conservationists and government officials alike acknowledge that marrying the people's dependence on the resources and the need for conservation continues to be a challenge.
Since the community people are living with these resources, initially it wasn't easy, and even trying to talk to them about marine protected area, because they were looking at it as deprivation. That is, we are depriving them of the resources that they were easily harnessing. Indeed, we needed to satisfy them because they are dwelling, they are living with the resources, they are the managers of the resources. Though we are going there to protect these resources for them, but it is really difficult, because you tell them, they will say, no, we've been all along here with these resources. So why now telling us that they will go away?
The Yori Bay area used to be like the farm where everybody goes for sustenance. And if you want to declare that area as a conservation zone, and that people should either minimize or reduce their presence, from that area, you need to come up with alternative livelihoods, because it involves their life.
In an effort to meet these challenges, the PRCM, the Government of Sierra Leone, Wetlands International and the Conservation Society of Sierra Leone have forged a collaboration to foster marine conservation in the country.
The need for what we call marine protected areas have been established. One, by the decline in our stocks, particularly affecting the livelihoods of local fishermen. Secondly, by the overall climate change, sea level rise affecting the coastal populations, which means that we need to take some measures in order to conserve our stocks, even for future generations.
The Wetlands International PRCM, have projects in those communities. The programs or the project they are implementing in the Yori Bay area are very, very appropriate as far as I'm concerned.
We're really concentrating on the management of our coastal zone, and we are concentrating on the implementation of marine protected areas as an instrument to marine conservation. We are doing this by implementing small-scale alternative livelihood activities for people living along the coast, so that we can give them alternative means of livelihood and release the pressure on our marine resources as a way of conserving those resources.
In Kagboro Chiefdom, they are engaged in building community smoke ovens, fish drying ovens, because the only means of preserving the fish resource in the Kagboro Chiefdom is mainly by smoking. So they have installed 8 fish smoke ovens in the Kagboro Chiefdom. They are buying goats and sheep. They've already provided the community with 10 cows as an alternative to the fish resources.
It's a good program which will help our people to help them maintain themselves financially and socially and so on.
Then bring in the animal husbandry, so that the fisherman will get another livelihood where he will depend on apart from the fishing, if he get for left the fishing.
We have come to Rutupunk on the Bumpe Creek, which is one of the largest settlements along the Yori Bay. Rutupunk is historically famous as a market town linking riverine areas and the mainland. Bumpe Creek is the main route linking downriver and the mainland. So when Wetlands International approached the communities to discuss livelihood issues in exchange for conserving the marine resources, the community chose the clearing of the creek as their most needed help.
The advantage with that to be make the people in Glady and the workman and self will be work that particular times, they all Glady, put them to good livelihood, they will support their family there that particular time will be work. Then to this time, all the passengers now they ride about along the river, they're all Glady now. Because they go no problem, no accident, on the road again. So we self Glady for that.
When they clean the place, all the worker there, with the FIFA, I like the nets, no problem. I like a worker with Pasia, no problem. But first, the ticket and Boku, they can't cover the river. Chance not for no worker. Now we been stop no more, but now they go right up. They can't come back free, no problem.
Wetlands is also implementing the PRCM project in Swain in the Ribi Chiefdom and Fobo in the Western Rural District.
Well, the rice mill is important for the farmers and the community and entire the area, entire this 22 villages and Ribi, Kagboro, Bumpe, Fabana area, Malambe area, 6 mile, 4 mile, because we get agriculture now. So now that is really important to me.
The project has also constructed 2 commercial boats for the fishing communities in Tumbo to enable communities all along the bay to transport people and goods to the market.
The implementation of the small-scale activities has been largely successful because we made it community-driven. The people themselves are in charge of the projects. For each project, we have a management committee, as I explained before, which is formed. Membership of that committee comes from the communities themselves. So they are directly in control of the project, they are directly in control of their fate in that regard.
It is hoped that the targeted implementation of the project will go a long way in reducing pressure on marine resources all along the bay.